If you've ever felt like you're made of broken pieces, if you've tried everything to heal childhood trauma but still feel stuck in the same patterns, if you feel powerless watching life happen to you instead of by you, then what I'm about to share will change everything. Because here's what nobody tells you. Science just proved that the very act of observing reality changes it. Not metaphorically, not symbolically, literally. The observer effect isn't a theory anymore. It's proven, and it has profound implications for how you create your reality, especially if you're healing from trauma. Let me tell you something. Most people spend their entire lives feeling fragmented, like parts of them are missing, like they're broken beyond repair. They go to therapy, they read the books, they do the inner work, and yet that feeling of incompleteness never quite goes away. But what if I told you that fragmentation is an illusion? What if I told you that quantum physics has proven you were never broken to begin with? What if the very way you're looking at your trauma is what keeps you trapped? Here's the thing. You are not made of separate parts. You are not broken with pieces that need fixing. You are a seamless extension of everything else in this universe. One thing, unbroken, whole. And the moment you understand how the observer effect works, how your consciousness literally shapes what unfolds in your reality, you stop trying to fix yourself and start unfolding the version of you that already exists. I'm going to show you the science behind this. Not pseudoscience, not wishful thinking. Actual peer-reviewed physics that Nobel Prize winners have confirmed. And then I'm going to show you how to use it. Because here's the paradox. The harder you try to change your reality, the more stuck you become. But the moment you understand that you are the observer, the moment you realize that your consciousness is not separate from what you're observing, everything shifts. Let me ask you this. What if your childhood trauma didn't break you? What if it simply made you focus on one aspect of reality, one pattern so intensely that it appeared to be all there is? What if healing isn't about fixing broken parts, but about shifting your observation to unfold a different aspect of who you already are? Pause with that for a moment, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand three things. First, how the observer effect was scientifically proven and what it means for your consciousness. Second, how your brain literally constructs the reality you experience, including space and time. And third, how to shift from being a victim of your reality to being the conscious observer who creates it. This is Beyond Reality, Episode 5, and this one goes deep. So here's my question for you. Are you ready to see how powerful you actually are? Let's dive in. In 1982, physicist Alain Aspect conducted an experiment that shattered our understanding of reality. He took two photons, particles of light, and sent them in opposite directions. 13 meters apart, no physical connection between them. Then he measured one of them. And here's where it gets stunning. The instant he observed the first photon, the second photon, 13 meters away, changed its state. Instantaneously, faster than the speed of light, there was no signal sent, no physical force transmitted, no time delay. The act of observing one particle affected the other, as if they were still connected at some deeper level of reality. This isn't theory, this is proven, repeatable physics. And it confirms something profound. The observer is not separate from what's being observed. You are not standing outside reality looking in. You are woven into the fabric of it. The observer is the observed. Let me tell you what this means for you, especially if you grew up with emotional neglect or trauma. When you were a child, you observed your environment. You watched how your caregivers responded or didn't respond. And your consciousness, like Aspect's photons, became entangled with that experience. But here's what most people don't realize. That entanglement isn't fixed. It's not permanent. It's not who you are. It's simply what you were observing. And the moment you shift your observation, the moment you become conscious of the fact that you are the observer, you change what unfolds. Most people think they're victims of their past. They think, this happened to me, so now I'm broken. But quantum physics reveals something radical. The past isn't a fixed thing that happened out there. The past is an observation you're making right now, and the way you observe it determines which aspect of it unfolds into your present reality. Think about it like this. Imagine you're a jeweler examining a diamond. The diamond has infinite facets, but depending on how you hold it, how you angle the light, only certain facets become visible. The diamond doesn't change. Your observation changes. You are that jeweler. Your trauma is that diamond, and the aspect you keep observing, the facet you keep focusing on, is the one that appears to be all there is. But it's not all there is. There are other facets, other potentials, other versions of your story that exist simultaneously in what physicist David Bohm called the implicate order, the deeper level of reality where everything is enfolded, waiting to be unfolded by an observer, and that observer is you. So here's where most people get stuck. They try to fix the facet they're observing. They try to polish the pain. They try to make the trauma look better. But the radical shift is this. Stop trying to fix what you're observing. Start observing something else, because the observer effect proves that the very act of observation collapses possibility into reality. You're not changing the diamond, you're changing the angle of your observation, and that changes everything. Now, before we go deeper, I want you to feel into this. Where in your life are you trying to fix something that might simply need to be observed differently? What if you're not broken? What if you're just holding the diamond at the wrong angle? Let that sit, because now I'm going to show you something even more radical. You're not just observing reality, you're constructing it mathematically with your brain. And once you understand how, you'll never see yourself the same way again. Ready to go deeper? Let's move into the holographic universe. Here's what nobody talks about. You are not made of the same things as the light in this room, the air you're breathing, the device you're watching this on. You are the same thing, one thing, unbroken. Let me explain this because it's the most important concept you'll ever encounter. Einstein proved that space and time are not separate. They're one continuum, space-time. You learned this in school, but physicist David Bohm took this further. He said, it's not just space and time that are continuous. Everything is continuous. You, me, the light, the dog lying at your feet. We are not separate objects in space. We are one seamless fabric. Think of it like a river. In the river, you see whirlpools. Each whirlpool has its own characteristics, its own speed, its own size, its own little dance. But here's the thing. You cannot draw a line where the whirlpool ends and the river begins. They are not separate. The whirlpool is the river moving in a particular pattern. You are that whirlpool. You have individual characteristics. You have a unique form, a unique consciousness, a unique story. But you are not separate from the river. You are what Bohm called a relatively independent subtotality, a pattern within the whole that appears separate but is actually seamless. And here's where it gets profound. If everything is one thing, then the idea that you are fragmented is impossible. Fragmentation is not reality. Fragmentation is a way of thinking about reality. It's a lens, a filter, a convention. And the moment you remove that lens, you see the truth. You were never broken. You never lost pieces of yourself. You simply folded certain aspects inward, like the way an electron can enfold itself and appear to vanish only to unfold again as a photon. Nothing was destroyed. Nothing was lost. It was simply enfolded, hidden from view, but still present in the deeper fabric of who you are. Bohm called this the implicate order, the hidden dimension where everything exists in an enfolded state, interconnected, whole. And the world you see, the world of separate objects, separate people, separate problems, that's the explicate order, the unfolded dimension, the surface level. But both are real, or neither of them are real. It depends on which lens you're using. Here's the radical part. Most people with childhood trauma live entirely in the explicate order. They see themselves as a separate, broken person trying to survive in a hostile world. But the implicate order reveals the truth. You are not separate. You are not broken. You are a pattern within an infinite interconnected whole. And healing isn't about fixing the broken parts. It's about unfolding the wholeness that was always there. Let me give you an example. Imagine a hologram, one of those 3D images created with lasers. If you cut a hologram in half, you don't get half the image. You get the entire image, just slightly less clear. Cut it into 100 pieces and every single piece still contains the whole image. That's how the universe works. Every cell in your body contains the entire cosmos. The poet William Blake said it perfectly. To see a world in a grain of sand and heaven in a wild flower. That's not poetry, that's physics. You are not a fragment of the universe. You are the universe, expressing itself in a particular form. And here's what this means for your trauma. The wound you carry is not a part of you that's broken off. It's a pattern enfolded into the whole of who you are. And patterns can shift. Patterns can unfold differently. You don't need to fix anything. You need to observe differently. You need to access the implicate order, the deeper level where wholeness exists, and unfold that into your reality. But here's the kicker. You can't do this with effort. You can't force it. You can't fight your way into wholeness because effort keeps you stuck in the explicate order, the world of separation, of struggle, of trying to push broken pieces back together. Wholeness unfolds when you allow, when you observe, when you align. And that brings us to the most radical discovery of all. Your brain is not a passive receiver of reality. Your brain is actively constructing reality. Every moment, including the reality of your trauma. Let me show you how. Shall we go deeper? Let's talk about how your brain builds your world. Neuroscientist Karl Pribram spent decades studying the brain, and he discovered something stunning. Your brain doesn't receive reality the way a camera receives an image. Your brain constructs reality, mathematically, using the same principles as a hologram. Let me tell you what this means. The world out there, the world you think is solid, objective, real, is actually a vast ocean of waves and frequencies. Interference patterns, energy fields oscillating at different rates. Your brain takes these frequencies and translates them into the experience of objects. A table, a chair, a person, your childhood home, the face of someone who hurt you. None of these things exist out there as solid objects. They exist as frequencies, and your brain decodes those frequencies into the 3D reality you experience. Pribram called this the holographic model of the brain. And when he combined his work with David Bohm's holographic universe, they arrived at a radical conclusion. The brain is a hologram interpreting a holographic universe. You are not observing an objective reality. You are constructing reality through the lens of your consciousness. Here's the thing. If you've experienced childhood trauma, your brain constructed a reality based on those frequencies. It built a world where you were unsafe, where love was conditional, where you had to fragment yourself to survive. But that reality, that construction, is not the only possible reality. It's one way of decoding the frequencies, one angle of observation, one facet of the diamond, and the moment you understand that your brain is the constructor, you realize you can construct something else, not by denying your past, not by pretending the pain wasn't real, but by understanding that the pain exists at the explicate level, the surface level, and at the implicate level, wholeness has always been present. Both are real, or neither are real. It depends on which lens you use. Let me give you an example. Pribram describes people who lose a limb and experience phantom limb syndrome. They still feel the limb, even though it's physically gone. Why? Because the brain is still constructing the experience of the limb based on the holographic blueprint stored in the implicate order. The limb isn't out there anymore, but the limb is still in here, enfolded in the brain's holographic memory. Now apply this to your trauma. The event happened in the past. It's gone. It's not out there anymore, but your brain is still constructing the experience of it, still unfolding it into your present reality, still holding the holographic blueprint of the wound. And here's the radical shift. If your brain can construct the wound, it can construct the healing, because both exist in the implicate order. Both are enfolded in the deeper fabric of who you are. You're not trying to get rid of the trauma. You're shifting which aspect of the implicate order you unfold. Think of it like a radio. The radio doesn't create the music. The music already exists as electromagnetic waves in the air. The radio simply tunes into a specific frequency and translates it into sound. Your brain is that radio, And right now, it's tuned to the frequency of the wound. But the frequency of wholeness is also present. It's always been present. It's just enfolded, waiting to be tuned in. So here's my question for you. What if healing isn't about changing the past? What if healing is about changing the frequency your brain is tuned to right now? What if you don't need to fight the wound? What if you just need to observe it differently? To tune into a different aspect of the implicate order? Here's the paradox. The moment you stop needing to heal, the moment you stop trying so hard, the healing unfolds. Not because you gave up, but because you stopped forcing. You stopped struggling at the explicate level, and you allowed the implicate order to unfold what was always there. This is the observer effect in action. You are not separate from what you're healing. You are the healing, enfolded in the deeper fabric of who you are. And the moment you observe from that place, from the place of wholeness, the explicate order shifts to match. But here's where most people get stuck. They don't know how to observe from that place. They don't know how to access the implicate order. They don't know how to shift the frequency. And that's what I'm about to show you. Because understanding the science is one thing. Applying it is another. So let's move into the practical. How do you actually use the observer effect to create your reality? Ready? Let's go. Here's what I want you to understand. You cannot force the implicate order to unfold. You cannot fight your way into wholeness. You cannot effort your way into a new reality, because the moment you try to force it, you're operating from the explicate level, the level of separation, struggle, fragmentation. And the explicate level cannot access the implicate. It can only reflect what's already unfolded. So how do you shift? How do you observe from the implicate order? Let me tell you the simplest, most elegant answer. Coherence. Coherence is when your thoughts, emotions, and energy align into a single focused state. Not scattered, not fragmented, not trying to hold 10 different realities at once. Coherent. Think of it like a laser. A regular light bulb scatters light in all directions. Weak, diffuse, chaotic. But a laser focuses all its light into a single coherent beam, and that beam can cut through steel. Your consciousness works the same way. When your thoughts are scattered, when you're thinking, I want to heal, but feeling I'm broken, you're scattering your energy. You're sending mixed signals to the quantum field, and the field responds with more scattering, more fragmentation. But when you align, when your thoughts, emotions, and energy all focus on the same frequency, you become coherent, and coherence collapses potentials. This is how the observer effect works in real life. You don't observe with your eyes, you observe with your consciousness. And consciousness is a more subtle form of matter. It interacts with the quantum field at the implicate level. When you observe with coherence, you don't make something happen. You allow it to unfold. Here's the practice. Stop trying to fix your trauma. Stop trying to get rid of the pain. Stop trying to become someone new. Instead, observe yourself as already whole, not in the future, not when you've healed enough. Right now. Because at the implicate level, you are already whole. That version of you exists. It's enfolded in the deeper fabric of reality, waiting to be unfolded by your observation. Let me walk you through this. First, acknowledge what's enfolded in the explicate order. The wound, the pain, the pattern. Don't deny it. Don't bypass it. Say, yes, this is what's currently unfolded. Second, shift your awareness to the implicate order. Close your eyes. Feel the space behind your thoughts, the stillness beneath the noise. That's the implicate. That's the ocean of infinite potential. Third, observe from that place, not from the wound. Fourth, allow, don't force, don't visualize, don't affirm, just allow. Like tuning a radio, you're not creating the frequency, you're aligning with it. And here's what happens. When you observe from coherence, when you align with the frequency of wholeness at the implicate level, the explicate order shifts to match. Not immediately, not always in the way you expect, but inevitably. Because the observer effect doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. And when you are coherent, wholeness unfolds. Now, I know what you're thinking, but I've tried this. I've visualized, I've affirmed, I've done the inner work, and nothing changed. Here's why. You were trying to change the explicate order from within the explicate order. You were trying to fix the broken pieces while still identifying as broken. You were trying to unfold wholeness while still observing fragmentation. And the observer effect doesn't work that way. You cannot observe fragmentation and expect wholeness to unfold. You cannot tune to the frequency of I'm broken and expect to hear the frequency of I'm whole. The shift is this. Stop observing the wound as you. Start observing the wound as something that was unfolded in a particular moment, under particular conditions by a particular observation, and then observe from the deeper place, the place where you were never broken, the place where wholeness has always existed. That's the implicate order. That's the observer's seat, and from that place you don't heal the wound. You unfold a different aspect of who you are, the aspect that was always whole, always powerful, always connected. Here's the paradox. The moment you stop needing to heal, the healing unfolds. Not because you gave up, but because you stopped observing from the frequency of lack. You stopped being the jeweler trying to fix the diamond, and you became the jeweler rotating the diamond to reveal a facet that was always there. So here's my question for you. What if you're not broken? What if you're just observing from the wrong angle? What if the version of you that's whole, powerful, connected? What if that version is unfolded right now, in this moment, waiting for you to shift your observation? Feel into that. Because what I'm about to share next is the most important part, what this means for your life, your healing, your purpose. Let's bring it home. Here's the truth that changes everything. You are not a victim of your reality, you are the observer of it. And the observer creates what unfolds, not by force, not by effort, but by alignment, by coherence, by observation. Let me tell you what this means for your life moving forward. If you grew up with emotional neglect, you learned to observe yourself as not enough, as invisible, as unworthy of love. And the quantum field, the implicate order, responded. It unfolded a reality that matched that observation, not because the field is cruel, but because the field is precise. It reflects what you observe with the frequency of your consciousness. But here's the radical news. That observation was never the truth. It was a lens, a filter, a way of decoding the frequencies. And you can change the lens, not by denying the past, not by pretending it didn't hurt, but by understanding that the past exists as an unfolded potential. And you get to choose which aspect of it you unfold into the present. You can unfold the story of the wound, or you can unfold the story of the wholeness that survived. Both are true, or neither are true. It depends on what you observe. Here's what I want you to remember. Every cell in your body contains the entire cosmos. The Andromeda Galaxy exists in the thumbnail of your left hand. Cleopatra meeting Caesar exists in your palm. The entire history and future of the universe is enfolded in every cubic centimeter of your being. You are not small. You are not broken. You are not powerless. You are a holographic expression of the infinite. And the moment you observe yourself from that place, from the implicate order where wholeness is the only reality, your explicate order shifts, your relationships shift, your health shifts, your sense of self shifts. Not because you forced it, but because you aligned with the frequency that was always present, always available, always enfolded in the deeper fabric of who you are. So here's the practice I want to leave you with. Every day, for just 5 minutes, close your eyes. Feel the space behind your thoughts, the stillness beneath the noise, the implicate order. And from that place, observe yourself. Not the you that's struggling, not the you that's wounded, the you that's whole, the you that contains galaxies, the you that's always been connected to everything. Don't force it. Don't visualize it. Just observe it, feel it, align with it, and watch what unfolds. Because here's the final paradox. You are not trying to become whole. You are remembering that you always were. The observer effect proves it. The holographic universe confirms it, and your own experience will validate it if you give yourself permission to observe from the deeper place. So here's my question for you one last time. Are you ready to stop trying to fix yourself? Are you ready to stop fighting the wound? Are you ready to shift your observation, to rotate the diamond and see the facet that was always there? Because that's the power of the observer. That's the power you've always had. Not the power to force reality to bend, but the power to align with the reality that's already unfolded, waiting to unfold through you. You are not a victim of the quantum field, you are a co-creator within it. And the moment you step into that truth, the moment you observe from that place, everything changes. And this is Beyond Reality, Episode 5. And we've only scratched the surface, because here's what I haven't told you yet. If the observer creates reality, what happens when you're asleep? What happens when your conscious mind steps aside and something deeper takes over? In Episode 6, we're going somewhere most people are afraid to go. A hidden realm that Carl Jung spent his entire life trying to understand. A realm where the boundaries between you and every human who has ever lived simply dissolve. I'm not going to say more. Not yet. Just know this. If Episode 5 showed you how you create reality, Episode 6 reveals where that power actually comes from. So if you're feeling that spark right now, that recognition, drop one word in the comments that captures where you are. Just one word, and hit subscribe. Hit the bell, because what's coming next changes everything. You are the observer, you are the creator, you are whole, and I'll see you in Episode 6.